I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I'm into day 20 now of my 30-day Samsung Galaxy S3 challenge. I'm coming up on 3 weeks with this device, and you're going to notice the color change because I switched over to a blue one. Was having a minor issue with my white AT&T one. They were nice enough to swap it out, and this one happens to be blue. So I switched over, still using the Galaxy S3, still using a US branded AT&T one with 4G LTE connectivity. So I can tell you after using the international one, then going to the AT&T white one, then going to this one, there are things that I like about the international one and things that I like about the AT&T branded one, and I'll tell you a couple of things just out of the gate. First of all, there's a slight speed difference between the international build and the US build. It's not very much, it's one of those things you're not going to see it in day-to-day performance, and I talked about this in day 15 of the video, but you can see minor differences between the international build, which has a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processor, and the US build, which has a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 CPU. A little bit of a difference. I find that the US one tends to be a little bit faster and kind of jerkier, if that makes any sense. I notice every now and again I'll go into a message and it'll kind of yank it in, or it'll do something and it's not as fluid as it could be. Very rarely happens, but I see it from time to time, much like I've seen on the One X and the One S, some of these other devices that are packing dual-core Snapdragon S4 CPUs. I find that the international one is a little bit more smooth, maybe just a pinch slower, but despite being slower, the transition effects and the fact that it's a little bit more fluid kind of outweigh the fact that it's having, that it's slower. So it's one of those things, it's just a fluid, consistent performance. So if you compare it to the iPhone 4S or anything that's running iOS 5, iPhone 4 for example, more so the 4S, with the processor improvements, you're going to see a difference between the international build and the US build. Side by side though, still an exceptional US phone, my personal favorite Android device in the market right now because I think it offers a great value proposition for a lot of people. It offers a great ecosystem, it offers a great user interface for those people that are looking to migrate in, and kind of gets away from that Android kind of science fair project. I've said this in a couple of reviews and dogfights, but gets away from that Android look and feel and kind of makes it more of a mainstream operating system. HTC Sense 4 does a fantastic job with this. But the Samsung Galaxy S3 with TouchWiz, with the new version of TouchWiz, kind of takes it to the next level, makes it feel a little bit more real as opposed to Sense 4 where it's like, well, that's great operating system or great user interface, but there are still some minor issues. Otherwise, battery continues to be relatively decent. I'm not seeing the kind of battery numbers on the 4G LTE version that I've seen on the international version. This one I can get about 11 to 13 hours a day with moderate use. That's with a 2,100 milliamp hour battery, same as the international version, but this one's packing 4G LTE capabilities as opposed to HSPA 21 megabits per second, which is what's on the international version. So some spec differences, but as a result, because HSPA Plus is less power hungry, if you will, it makes it through the day and makes it through a little bit longer. So I'd say 15 to 17 hours on the HSPA Plus version as opposed to 11 to 13 on the 4G LTE build. So it's going to be a trade-off to you if you're looking and you're like, I'm not sure whether I should get the international or the US branded. It's really going to be a difference whether you prefer LTE, whether LTE is even in your market, or if you want something with HSPA Plus, a little bit longer battery life, and that quad-core Exynos processor. It's a tough call, but so far both are great devices. It continues to be an exceptional device. It competes head-to-head against the HTC One X and maybe to a lesser extent the Apple iPhone 4S. I've still got 10 more days with this, getting ready to embark on a trip to San Francisco for Google I/O and for some meetings, so stay tuned. I've got 10 more days as part of my 30-day challenge, so I'm going to want to hear from you as it goes on as to what you want to see in the next couple of videos. Be sure to hit me up, Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Let me know what you want to see on this device. If there's a particular feature, a setting you'd like to see displayed in one of my final videos, I'd love to do it for you. Let me know at Twitter or at Facebook. Thanks for watching. More to come on the Galaxy S3 Challenge on PhoneDog.com.